the weekend. We got a nice Friday slate. We have in the NBA tonight a pair of great game sixes, and then of course a big 15-card game in the MLB. Coming off a split day in baseball, that's you guys know we bet a lot of dogs. When you're betting dogs, you split, you go 50% in the money big time. So a profitable day yet again. And John, where do you want to start today? This massive baseball card? Or you want to touch on these NBA playoffs?
Hey, let's start with the baseball, because I'm going to give out for the free bet today one of the NBA games. So gotta watch the whole show if you want to get that free winner. But yeah, as Ben was saying, a split yesterday, but we split ain't like nobody else split. We split with a Cincinnati Reds plus 175 dog, and everybody in the world was all over San Diego in the afternoon yesterday. We took 120 again, guys. I don't know how we didn't call that on during the show yesterday, but that number just kept climbing up. And just before game time, that's when we made the bet. Again, that's why it pays to be. I had to beat the bookie member. So, and I hope my guys that don't pay for the VIP service checked the website, because I think we made that bet maybe 20 minutes before the game went there. I mean, the game just wasn't at the price we wanted just before post. It went high enough when we took that game. Lost a tough one. How about a suicide squeeze at the bottom of the night to lose that one? That kind of set the stage for the night game that we lost. Late breaking news on that one was that Carroll was going to sit out. You want to have him going against Wood. Just my bad with Wood. Wood's been great this year, but has not performed on the road well the last couple of years. But he was dynamite last night. Wood. Cobb, yep. He just beat us last night. If we didn't give up those extra insurance runs, though, maybe we tie it up. That's here. That's gone. On to today. Big card. All night games, Ben. Get us started.
Yeah, let's dive in. First game here. By the way, guys, I don't know if you guys have caught on, but the way we go through the slate, it's not necessarily in time order. We go NL, AL, Interleague, just based off the way the lines are set up on the books.
NL, then AL, then the Interleague. Yes.
Yeah, so first game of card, Reds versus Marlins.
We're going in what's called the official rotation, just so you guys know. This is the official. This is what's on Don Best. This is the official rotation. It's just easier for us to stay in tune. So, yes, try to stay with us. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
No worries. So, Ashcraft versus Perez. Perez supposed to be a highly touted prospect. We'll see how he comes up here for Miami. As far as his double-A numbers, pretty good. 3-1, 2.32. Last two starts, really impressive, though. 2 runs in 11 innings, 20 Ks, 3 walks. He's getting it done there, missing a lot of bats. And then it's Ashcraft. He was drilled last start there for Cincy. Prior to that, he was looking like one of the better pitchers this season. We'll see if he bounces back. Spot right, though, in this game, you're looking at a big number there for Cincinnati as a road dog. Slight lean to the Reds here with that. I have a hard time, buying into the prospect on his first start. Sometimes that favors into him a little bit with not being seen. Marlins bats did wake up on the back end of that trip at Arizona. Just can't lay Miami there as the favorite.
This kid's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. But as Ben said, double-A. Again, double-A, not even triple-A. Skipping right over triple-A, major jump. Look, big enough jump from triple-A to Major League Baseball, double-A to the big time. Big jump. Marlins get a break. They had a day off from coming back from the West Coast. Reds were in a game yesterday that they use a bullpen game, so that's going to weigh in the Marlins' favor. Also, I'm right around the line here just because I don't know exactly what to expect out of this kid. Again, as I said, one of the top prospects in baseball, but a big jump. No dog in this fight.
Then it's Mets at Nationals. We have McGill versus Gore. McGill, last 2 starts, 6 runs in 10 1/3. You have Gore, 3 of his last 4 starts been quality starts. He's been very solid here for Washington. They met earlier this year. Nats won 2 of 3 meetings. You have the Mets, who are coming in after losing to the Reds, playing just absolutely horrible. 4-13 their last 17 games. They've come in now losing 4 or 5. Can't back this Mets team, not at this price especially. The number's been beaten up, though. Don't want to be laying the Mets as a road favorite. I mean, I just can't lay them as a road favorite. Would want a bit more to back a Washington team. It was just 6-12 at home, though.
If you guys are how to beat the bookie members, we write a preview for every game. We obviously wrote a preview for the game I bet on. Just said the Mets cannot be a -190 favorite. Going into yesterday, I believe they were 4-13 in their last 17 games. Horrible run by the Mets. Sharp money's against them every single day. Same thing here. Overnight line was Mets minus 141. They're down to a minus 115 favorite. So as Ben said, that number's beat up. Not even a chance for us to get on this game. It would be Nationals or nobody. Don't want to catch the dropping sword.
Phillies at Colorado. How about Gomber's turnaround? He looked like the worst pitcher in baseball first few times out, and now his last 3 starts, just 3 runs in 17 innings. He's been solid. He had a quality start versus the Phillies last year, and then you have Walker going. He's coming off a quality start. Prior to that was getting killed, and he's been worse on the road. 2-2, 6.75. You have a near 7-point ERA on the road. Last place you want to find yourself is in Coors. Phillies, they won 3 or 4 meetings against the Rockies earlier this year, but Rockies, as we know, typically a bit better at home. They come in on a little 3-game winning streak after beating up on Toronto. And Rockies 8-2 their last 10. Home dog, pitcher struggling on the road. This one's Colorado or nobody all the way.
Yeah, no, this is a no-brainer. Colorado at home, just getting no respect. This line's gone all the way down. We'll give this one to you because the line has moved so much. I took this last night, sent out to our VIP guys at plus 138. Because I knew there was absolutely no way that number would be here today. And let me just check. As of now, you're looking at the best number you could take right now is plus 120. As Ben said, Gomez turned his stuff around. Rockies 8-2 all of a sudden, batting .291 at home. Rockies just always a different team at home at Coors Field than they are on the road. They build their team to win at Colorado. They'll start winning there. If they don't win today, the value is all over. You could see it's already a 20-cent move from last night.
So we have Giants at Arizona. Giants get the win last night. D-backs won 6 of 9 in Arizona last season. D-backs not a little bit of a skid. They've lost 3 straight, scoring just 2.7 runs per game. San Francisco, they're 2-3 their last 5, but 6-3 their last 9. Going back a bit more there. Nelson on the mound for the Diamondbacks. Not so good so far this season, but getting roughed up a little bit. Last 4 start, 18 runs, 30 hits in 19 innings. And then we're looking at a bullpen day for the Giants. Slightly into the home dog here in Arizona. Not loving Nelson on the mound. Just have a hard time seeing this Giants team being a road favorite with the bullpen day, no matter who Arizona's throwing. Not a major pitching edge, but granted, having a guy who might give you 3-4 innings means more than a bullpen game. So lean a little bit there to the D-backs, but tough game all around.
Look, Nelson has been garbage, but even at that, he's a starting pitcher. San Fran will have a bullpen game, as you say, going. There's no question who the better hitting team is. Diamondbacks second in the majors in batting average. A little bit of a slump they've hit the last few days. Carroll was out, as I said. That's a tough break. You'd want him in the lineup, but that was a scheduled day off. He should be back today. Arizona, a better home team than Frisco is a road team. I don't think that's even up for debate. There's no pitching edge. They can't be a dog, Arizona or nobody.
That is Padres at Dodgers. Got a good little rematch from last weekend. Dodgers took 2 of 3 last weekend. They won 8 of 10 in LA last season prior to the NLDS. Snell versus May. They each had quality starts in the meeting last week. May really struggled against the Padres in 2 starts last year, but he is looking better this year. He's coming off a good start against them. And then you have Snell, who has decent history against the Dodgers, and the NLDS allowed just 1 run as well. Really weird when you get these pitching matchups twice in 1 week, getting the same read, similar lines. Obviously, the home edge flips as far as the line goes. Slightly in here to San Diego, but Dodgers' first series versus the Padres at home since they got knocked out by them. Going to be a rowdy environment on a Friday night. Going to be a little bit of an extra home edge there to LA. Don't want to get involved in this one.
Yeah, Snell's pitched good against them. And for you guys that follow, you know that the Dodgers just can't hit lefties. Mm-hmm. Where we at with Dodgers? Let me pull up stats, guys. Batting 181 this week, 201 against left-handed pitching. What I will say about the Dodgers, though, they've started to turn it around. If you guys have been following the show, we talked about the Dodgers from the beginning of the season, a team that won 111 games last year. We said they weren't going to be the same, but take away everything. Take Buehler's out. You trade or you lose Turner. Let's take off 15 games and you're still at that 96 win. Well, prorate the way they're playing now, 605 ball over 162 games, and it comes to 98 wins. So they're right where we expect them to be. They've turned it around in the last two after that little rough patch. You guys had also followers. They had that rash of paternity leaves. So they're all back. They're playing well. They're back to playing good baseball. Again, a little rough time against Snell last time out. They're rough against left-handers. That's why it's a cheap number. It looks cheap for the Dodgers being at home. But 132 is basically right where I make the game.
Then it's Seattle at Detroit. Tigers red hot. They've won 7 of 9. Mariners, they dropped 2 of 3 against Texas, but they're 7 of 3 their last 10. Gonzalez versus Boyd. Gonzalez is coming off a quality start. And as far as Boyd, he's been decent. They've won 3 of his last 4 starts. He's coming off a quality start as well. He hasn't faced the Mariners since 2021, but that was a quality start as well for Boyd. This is Tigers or nobody. I leaned to under a little bit in this game as well. Don't love it for the pitching matchup, but I find this series going to be a bit more low scoring. So series read going to be looking at the under this weekend. Just can't go against this hot Detroit team as a home dog. Don't see a reason to. And Gonzalez, yes, solid pitcher, but not warranted the edge here, the price to be a road favorite. Seattle's not hitting.
Yeah, Seattle's not hitting. Seattle's 28th, hitting 223, but an even worse 193 versus lefties. Detroit and nobody. I'm hoping this line goes up a little bit more. They're starting to catch on to Detroit after these last couple of games. But, it's Detroit and nobody.
Then it's Rays at Yankees. Wander Franco is questionable in this one. Massive pitching edge to the Yankees. Cole versus a bullpen game. Going to be Kelly, then Fleming out of the pen. They've been using Fleming, giving him a good 4 or 5 innings in these long relief roles. Cole, great all year until his last start at Tampa Bay. Gave up 6 runs off 8 hits, 2 homers, blew a 6-0 lead. Really tough there when your ace blows a 6-0 lead. Lean to the Rays in this game. It's a really big price. Obviously, they have the bats to keep in it. We just saw them get to Cole. Cole has been a bit better at home. They beat him yesterday 8-2. The Yankees bats did come alive in that Oakland series. Got to take it with a grain of salt. Do they kind of continue here against this Tampa Bay bullpen game? Slight lean here to the Rays with the price. Not jumping out of my seat to go on a bullpen game against Cole.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. Especially, I expect a little bounce back. He was sailing. Has a 6-0 lead. Man, that was a 1,000,000-1 game for Tampa Bay to come back on him against that, especially his history against Tampa Bay last year. Yankees were crushing the ball. That was against Oakland. Oakland's pitching staff is horrendous. So I'm not going to take that too much into account there. I'm just not going to buck Cole. After a tough loss last night, the Yankees will try to get back right on the right track here. They've lost 3 or 4 so far to Tampa Bay, losing a tough one last night in the late innings, and then losing and blowing that 6-0 lead at Tampa. Shops were all over the Yankees yesterday. They flipped that script from Tampa Bay -1.25 to Yankees -1.25. Today, just going, it's gone up from 167 on the opener to as high as -175. A lot will have to do with Wander. He's the Rays' best player as far as I'm concerned. And we'll see if he's in or out of the lineup. That'll decide which way the line will go. Just not interested in bucking Cole in this spot, especially without Wander Franco.
Nope, tough to back that edge. Then you have Angels versus Guardians. Guardians have won 11 straight meetings in Cleveland. Anderson versus Allen. Allen's only had 3 career starts, and they've all been pretty good. 5 runs through 16 2/3. Anderson, rough start to the season. Last 2 starts, bit better. 4 runs in 12 2/3. Or excuse me, 11 2/3. And he's been a bit better on the road this year. Don't want to go against the Guardians' 11-0 trend. It's a really tough trend to go against. Slightly in here to the Angels. I'd like what I've seen from Allen. Anderson, though, he's been getting a bit better. This is a game he can continue that. A Guardians team who, like Seattle, struggling to hit. So would be Angels or nobody, but I really don't want to go against that trend. If anything, I like the under a bit more in this game. I think Anderson can settle in against a Guardians team, also not hitting.
Yeah, the sharps are betting the trend there because I don't see nothing else. Allen, we bet against him the last time out with Detroit. He had his first. This will be his 4th start. So his first couple of starts were really good. One was against the Yankees without Judge, and the other one I'm failing to remember what it was exactly. But it was against another offensively challenged team, and that's why we decided to go with the Tigers against him. And we picked up the W in that game. as Ben said, Anderson coming back, playing a little better. Cleveland, we're talking about Mariners can't hit. The Cleveland's pathetic. Stats on the Guardians now. They're batting a cool $180, 180. I weigh more than 180. They're batting 180 this week, 214 versus left-handed pitching, and they're 29th for the year, batting 221. Scored a grand total of that many, 4 runs in their last series. No way do I want to lay any kind of price with them. Again, Ben said the trend here, it's 11 straight, but it's got to be Angels and nobody. No way would I lay this with the way the Guardians are not hitting.
Then we have Astros at White Sox. France made his debut last time out, 5 shutout innings and a loss at Seattle. And then it's Kopech for the White Sox. He's been a bit better, 5 runs in 12 innings his last 2 starts. Did struggle a little bit with Houston last year, 2 starts, 7 runs in 11 innings. They split 4 meetings in Houston earlier this season. They split 4 meetings in Chicago last year. And now they have Astros who come in. They win their last 2 after losing 5 prior 6, starting to wake up a little bit. This is a must series for Houston. They've been banged up, have a lot of injuries. This is now they're getting their chance to beat up on one of the bottom 3 teams in the AL. We saw Kansas City take advantage of a series with the White Sox. Houston's going to have to as well. Slight lean to the home dog in this one in the White Sox. Really don't love it, though. It's a series Astros really need as far as standings purposes.
Look, I thought the White Sox were about to turn the corner. That's why we jumped on them yesterday against Singer, who had been absolutely horrible. I mean, just absolutely horrible. 5 of his last 6 games, giving up 5 runs or more. 2 of them he gave up 8 runs. They couldn't get it done. They didn't tie the game up till 3-3 till late in the game. Just not getting the job done with the bats. White Sox. I'm not going to back them here. Kopech, like you said, a little bit better the last couple. France looked very nice his first time out. Houston belongs to be a favorite. Yeah, Chicago, I thought they were going to be a better team. They're not. You are what your stats say you are. Right now, can't back the White Sox. And if the number was higher, I could see it. Not at this number. I think it's a fair number. Sharps are actually on Houston here from the opener. They're moving it from -135 to now -145.
That is Rangers and A's. Rangers bullpen gets another day off thanks to Eovaldi. 8.2 shutout innings last night. He's been stellar. Tonight it's Perez versus Waldichuk. How about Waldichuk? He has a 7+ ERA, but A's have 8 wins this season, and he's responsible for getting them to 4 of them in some ways. So they're getting it done with him on the mound. Perez, he's been solid. They've won 4 of his last 5 starts. He was lit up his last start for 7 runs against the Angels. They still pulled that one out. So we'll see if Perez has a bounce back here against Oakland. He dominated them last year, 2 runs in 20 innings. This is technically, Texas or nobody. You bet against the A's. They have one of their better pitchers, bounce back spot. I could see the A's sneaking a win here on Friday night with Waldichuk on the mound. That's kind of what they've been doing. We'll see if Perez slides a bit, 2 in a row. I don't want to go against the guy who has half their wins. I'm going to put it that way.
Well, neither do the Sharps. They have buried the A's in this game. Opening number was 191. Guys, you're not going to hear me say this many times. I'm ready to lay 161. As long as Texas isn't sitting anybody out, I'll be on the favorite in this game. Perez had a terrible outing last time. We had Texas in the last game, and they got the W, but he had a terrible outing. But that's been his only bad outing. Perez still one of your top pitchers. Yep. Waldichuk, it's called walking through raindrops. To have a 7+ ERA and your team win 4 of your last 5 starts, that's all that's going to catch up to you at some point. I make this game over 200. I can't see what they're betting here. Obviously if Perez pitches as bad as he does and in his last game, you can give the A's a shot and say they're a live dog. Just don't see it. Again, we'll wait to make sure everybody's in the lineup for Texas. If they are, I'll be on this big favorite.
And it's Pirates at Baltimore. Oviedo versus Bradish. Oviedo is really solid to start the year. Last 3 starts, though, 19 runs in 12 2/3, 8 Ks, 7 walks, struggling. Bradish hasn't been too much better. 13 runs, 19 hits in 12 innings. His last 3 outings. 2 pitchers struggling. Only thing is this Pirates lineup just can't hit right now. 9 of 10 they've lost, scoring 1.5 runs per game. They finally scored over 2 runs in their last game. Then you have the Orioles coming off 2 tough wins against the top team in baseball, Tampa Bay. They get the day off. So slight lean here to the Orioles. Another one of these favorites. I don't think the price is too low. Pitching edge, not really one way or the other. Just lineup edge is huge right now to Baltimore.
Yeah, Bob. Pirates are as ice cold as they were red hot. I think they were 111 off 12. They were red hot. Boom, they hit the skids. And now they can't even score a run. No way to back them. This line is actually a little bit high as far as the numbers, but it's that high because Pirates are so ice cold. Game opened up at minus 157, so a little money showed up for the Pirates. Like I said, my numbers say it should have been a little lower than the 157 also, but no way do I want to back this Pirate team.
Braves at Blue Jays, maybe the second best series this weekend with Dodgers and Padres in action. We have Strider versus Bassett. They last met in 2021. Blue Jays won all 6 meetings that year. Bassett obviously pitched in the NL East last year with the Mets, so good amount of experience against the Braves last season. He went 1-2, 4.60 in 3 starts. 5 to 6 starts this year, been quality starts. He had 7 shutout innings against that cold Pirates team last time out. And then you have Strider, who's been great. Last 2 starts, not as dominant, though. He's won all 7 of his starts. Last 2 gave up 6 runs in 10 innings. Still has a K-walk ratio, 18 Ks, 3 walks. This is Toronto or nobody. This is a tough game, but you have the best road team in baseball, second best home team in Toronto. Blue Jays been playing these long road trips. They're coming back here. It's going to be an interesting matchup, great pitching matchup. Jays at home as a dog, got to be interesting.
Yeah, look, Bassett, don't let that 4+ ERA fool you. He got crushed in his first start this year. Since then, he's pitching to a 2.45 ERA. Strider, the headlines, the fastball, the whole bit. He's been great. Not going to, but his last 2 games, a little less than great.
Mm-hmm.
No way could Toronto be this big a home dog. Not with Bassett pitching the way he's pitching. This is a no-brainer. This is Toronto, a nobody. Forget that. Look, Atlanta 15-3 on the road. I get it. But Toronto's still playing good at home, and Bassett pitching real good baseball. The value's there with the home dog.
And we have Cardinals at Boston. Over. This game opened up at 10 on the over. It's already up to 11, a full point move. And the MLB totals is not too common. So that's a big move there. Wainwright versus Paxton. Paxton hasn't pitched since 2020, really. He had 1 start in 2021, has the elbow surgery, out for 2 seasons, comes back this year in spring training, tears the hammy, out for a month and a half. And now we're back here, and we're going to see James Paxton in 2023. I don't expect that to go well. He had a 6.23 ERA in his rehab starts. Pretty brutal. Then you have Adam Wainwright going for St. Louis. His first start back. He looked good early, but just as soon as the inning started taking up, second time through the order, gave up 4 runs off 8 hits in 5 innings. And I will say, I watched a lot of that Wainwright start his last time out. He got a lot of generous calls from the ump that game. A lot of generous calls. So, going to be interesting how he looks in Boston. I expect this one to be high scoring. Tough read on the game. Slight lean to the Cardinals. But I feel like this could be one where Boston puts up 10 runs. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, look, Boston's your 3rd highest scoring team in the major leagues right now. They're absolutely crushing the ball. Last couple of games at Atlanta, not so much. But before that, we're red hot. Look, can't back the Red Sox with Paxton making his preview. Hasn't pitched in so long. Not impressive at all in his rehab starts. My numbers say the Red Sox should be higher, but again, don't want to back Paxton in this spot. Feel Wainwright. Did he get that rust off him in the first start? We got plenty other games to bet today. We'll take a look. We'll see what Wainwright looks like, what Paxton looks like, and we'll move forward from there in that one, Ben.
Then it's Royals at Milwaukee. Taylor versus Burns. Royals coming off the walk-off squeeze bunt yesterday. That was their first walk-off of the season, so maybe a little bit of a letdown. But they've been playing good ball. They've won 4-5. They're scoring 6.4 runs per game, hitting 274 this week. I mean, this KC team's kind of flipped it around this past week. And then you look at their schedule, they're playing the other 2 worst teams in the AL in Oakland and the White Sox. So take it all how you will. Then you have the Brewers coming in. They lost their last 2 to the Dodgers. They're just 2-8 their last 10. Burns, he's been rough at home, 1-0, 5.28, but he was coming off a quality start. This to me is Casey or nobody. I'm not jumping out of my seat. Like I said before, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Yes, Casey was playing better. Yes, Casey was hitting against Oakland and White Sox. Sean and I could bat 300 against them. So this is Casey or nobody, but tough to read after those two series.
Yeah, can't back Casey in a bullpen game coming off the game yesterday. Brewers are playing terrible baseball. Burns far from lights out, especially at home, but just can't back the dog here in a bullpen game coming off the game yesterday. Although Casey's turned it around, especially hitting. They were one of the worst hitting teams in the league. Turned it around a little bit in the last week or so. We went against them yesterday. Part of the reason we went against them, Salvi Perez, leader in home runs and RBIs, was out of the game. That just gave us just enough to like the White Sox. But can't like them today, not in a bullpen game. Definitely not looking to lay a team that's ice cold with Burns, who hasn't been dominant. So we'll pass.
Then you have Cubs at Minnesota, Twins. Twins bats started waking up a little bit, but they're struggling. They get the win against San Diego yesterday. They won their last two, scoring 4.5 runs per game. Then you have this Cubs team. They're coming off the win against St. Louis. That was a snap at 3-game losing streak. So both teams were struggling. Are they back in the direction trying to figure it out? Then you have Smiley versus Gray. Pretty decent pitching matchup. Gray, I mean, he gave up more than one run for the first time this year. His last start. We'll see if that continues. And Smiley also coming off one of his worst starts this year. Prior to that, he was pretty dominant. They've won 5 of his last 6 starts. This game is Cubs or nobody. It's a big price there. Cubs were pretty good on the road this season. Minnesota hitting a little bit in the back end of that San Diego series. Not going crazy about laying this Cubs team on the road right now. They haven't been playing as good. They get one win against St. Louis. Does that wake up their bats? I don't know. But definitely Cubs are no one for me.
Yeah, Cubs looked a little better earlier in the season. Not so much lately. They did. They explode for I think it was 10 runs against the Cardinals. So it skews their averages that they're scoring 4.8 runs per game over the last 4 games because they weren't hitting and when they weren't scoring before that. Because of how well they were playing earlier, how well they were hitting, they're still third in the league, batting .269. Many, absolutely the worst hitting team, batting .220, dead last and hitting only .203 versus left-handers, just not hitting the ball. Just the price was right yesterday. That's why until that price got there, we weren't all over Minnesota. Now you got Gray, who's been just lights out. I mean, bad game, not a terrible game. 3 runs in 5 innings. Yeah. Before that, absolutely lights out. Gray's been. Smiley only reached 3 in the 3rd innings. He's starting to regress to what I expect Smiley to be. Not great. He's got a matchup to dream for here against Minnesota, worst hitting team in the league. But his last matchup was against the Marlins, who score the least amount of runs in the league, 3.3 runs per game, and he got chased after 3 1/3. Not interested in the Cubs unless this game was to go a little bit higher. Right now, we're sitting at 155, which was the opener, which also tells me nobody's interested in it.
That's it for the MLB card. We got 2 NBA games going on tonight, but first we can kind of touch in on what went down last night. Phoenix Suns, 2nd year in a row, blown out of their own building, 30 points at halftime. Once Ayton was ruled out, that kind of took away their chances. They're hard to compete there. I know one of the members commented on YouTube yesterday that he would like us to get these breakdowns out earlier, etc. So you guys can get the information before the day games. Try to get these out quick as possible, but we'll never have information for every game. If it's not early enough, then it won't be for the late games.
For every game, become a fucking member. And you get the information for every game as it happens.
Well, this person who commented claims he was a member. I don't even know. So they really like the breakdowns, which, hey, I appreciate you guys watching. But, yeah, that Ayton injury example of, the earlier we get it, we miss some info, whatever. But going on into that game, Suns blown out the gate. I don't think it was a bad postseason for the Suns. You kind of get the team together, kind of figure out what they have. They need an offseason to get more depth going. Kind of like LeBron's first year in LA. He found his young guy in AD he was going to play alongside. KD found that with Booker, build on that. But Denver, man, they're going to be a problem. And John, do you think they're going to be seeing this Lakers or Warriors team from tonight?
Well, that's my bet today. That's the free bet I'm giving out. It's the Lakers, so that's what I think they're going to say. Yeah, well, it's a must game. Golden State, Game 7. Yeah, Lakers don't want to go to a Game 7. Look, Golden State for the entire year has been they're the worst record. They're the worst road record of any team that made the playoffs, and the worst road record against the spread of any team in the NBA. Counting the Pistons and the Dregs, they haven't been able to do it all season long. Turn around to the Lakers. Lakers in the postseason, they've won all 6 of their games, 5-1 against the spread. The only game they lost was the first play-in game, but when it's not that they lost, they didn't cover against the Timberwolves in the first play-in game, and they're 8-0, 6-2 against the spread their last 8 games in their home building. Bad road team, good home team. The Lakers don't want to go Game 7. And what's going to be huge, look, this would have been a love bet if I knew Wiggins was going to be out. Wiggins is big for them. Poole just not having a postseason to talk of, to brag about. So makes Wiggins even better. Poole was playing like he was last year. Take a little off. Wiggins, since he's come back, I've got my rating up 2 points on the line for Golden State. So if he's out, it's a big loss. And look, I don't know how bad he's hurt, but it's supposed to be a rib. It's going to be tough to run. So if the injury is bad, he plays with it. If it affects his play, I like the Lakers no matter what. If he's out, it would really be a love bet here for me. Golden State is going to have to knock down the threes. Look, Golden State is going to have to knock down a lot of threes. That's where the game's going to be won or lost by. And we say Curry and Clay could go unconscious, and that can happen. But it hasn't yet. What's happened so far in this series, at home, at Golden State, Warriors, 55 of 130, 42.3%. 2 games in LA, 25 for 85, just 29.4%. I go with the numbers. Stats say they don't. Stats say the Lakers get this W. Again, if Wiggins is out, would have been a love bet at -2.5. Line is up to 3 now. I like the Lakers to meet the Nuggets for the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's Lakers here in this spot. I mean, LeBron James in elimination game, and it's been this defense for Lakers that's got it done the whole postseason and even the backstretch as they were climbing the standings in the regular season. Defense, which, like you just alluded to with the numbers, so much better on their home floor. Wiggins with the injury, I mean, even if he plays, it's the little things he's going to be hesitant to do, hesitant to take the charge, hesitant to go up for the rebounds. It's going to be the little things that's going to be kind of nicking there for Andrew Wiggins. Might still have a shot, might still have everything else, but an elimination playoff game where it's a lot more physical, definitely want that guy 100%. So Lakers all the way in this. I agree with you. Draymond Green is going toe-to-toe with Klay Thompson as far as scoring in the last 3 games of this series. That can't happen if you're Klay Thompson, but if you're the Warriors, you can't win if Draymond Green is matching Klay Thompson in scoring. You just can't win that way.
Yeah, well, Klay had a dud in the last game at Golden State. It's again, 3-point line, guys. Watch the 3-pointers. If Golden State's going to win, they're going to have to knock down, I say, 15 threes and shoot it at least 35%. If they don't, the Lakers will win this game.
And then the game we have tonight's Knicks Heat. They'll be seeing. We have 1 Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll see how many Game 7s we get. Jason Tatum got his ass saved last night. I mean, damn. What did he go 0 for 13, 1 for 13, and then shows up in the 4th like it was nothing. So got to tip the cap there. Saved his own ass. And Doc Rivers feeling the choke. But as far as this Knicks Heat series, do the Heat start to choke? Scott Foster officiated Heat games. They've lost 10 straight, 1-9 against the spread. Scott Foster did lead the NBA as far as home teams against the spread record this season. This Knicks team gets Game 5. Can they come back to Miami and steal a Game 6 to force a Game 7? Going to be really tough. I mean, even that Game 5 wasn't too smooth for them. They would go down early, came out slow. They're going to have to play a good 48 minutes in this game. I don't think they've had any game in this series where they played a good 48 minutes. Even that Game 5, those stretches here and there, almost blew it late. Lean to the Knicks, but I think it's going to be a close elimination game. I don't see them getting blown out like the Suns did last night. Don't want to go against Jimmy Butler at home in an elimination game. Just playoff Jimmy, he's been doing too much.
You know what? I don't even know what to say about this series. This series has had me bamboozled. I like the Knicks. No, I loved the Knicks in Miami games 3 and game 4, and they came with nothing. Didn't look like they looked defeated. Julius Randle came in the press conference and said maybe they want it more than us. They just look like a beat team. Miami goes to the Guard. We bet on the Heat for game 5. They jump up 24-14. They held the Knicks to 14 points in the first quarter. Then literally fell asleep second and third quarters, getting outscored, getting crushed. To wake up, to put a run on, to get just close enough, but not that close to lose the game. What I wrote in this in my preview, guys. Again, we write previews on every game: NBA, MLB, and obviously football when the NFL is here. So Jimmy Butler, he shot 5 for 12 for 19 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. That's a really good game, but it's not playoff Jimmy. He didn't have that. He's been averaging 31.9 points per game in the playoffs, and that's what you need. You need for the Heat to have the rating that they do now. They need playoff Jimmy. They need one of those 30-point games. Knicks quickly is out. He missed the last few games. With him out, Brunson and Grimes played all 48 minutes of those. Thibodeau throws guys out there. He don't care. No. He just plays everybody like they're marathon runners. What do they have left for this game? This is just a tough game to read. Tell me playoff Jimmy shows up. It's Heat a blowout tonight. I think you'll come up with a tired twosome, a tired backcourt. I don't expect quickly to play either today. Playoff Jimmy doesn't show up, and he has another relatively good game, as I just described. That's enough for the Knicks to keep it close. This is a game we're probably going to have a bet at halftime if we get the right read. Before game time, I don't know who's sluggish, how's Butler playing, what the Knicks look like. We'll be watching this game for halftime.
Yeah, as far as Butler, he had said himself that he thinks, part of the success they've had is part of that being, in playoff mode 2 months before the playoffs start, because you got to climb the standings, stay to play in, all that. We saw last year with Miami in the postseason, right? They go to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals versus Boston, but by the time they got to that Game 7, they were just beat up. They didn't have much left in the tank. They were a shadow of what they were. Obviously, not saying that's happened to Jimmy yet, but if there starts to be some regression, if he starts to slow down a little bit after carrying so much with Tyler Hero out, another Heat injury or so, it's not crazy to think that maybe the Heat are just regressing after 2 months of playing in playoff mode before the playoffs, and now Jimmy doing extra without Tyler Hero.
Well, look, they're definitely regressing. 124 points per game, first round against Milwaukee, $106 in this round against the Knicks. Bucks have a good defense also. 2 starters on the first team, all defensive team. Lopez, Drew Holiday. They got a guy named Giannis, not too shabby on defense either. That's a solid defensive team. But we had said Heat were playing so over their head that there had to be some regression. That's what made us love the Knicks in games 3 and 4. Didn't happen. And the regression continued into New York. After a good first quarter, they got blown out in the second and third quarter. Looked like they think they had the series locked up, started to celebrate too soon, and fell behind too big to make that comeback, which once we made that comeback, really thought we were going to win that game. Didn't happen. So now we got game 6 here. Do the Knicks have anything left in the tank after withstanding that comeback in game 5? Or do they feel just happy enough to get that W? We'll see. Again, like I said, I'll be watching this one at halftime. We might have a better idea what's happening for that game.
And then, John, we usually don't go too far into the weekend, but obviously we don't do these on the weekend. 76ers Celtics Game 7. Do you have any thoughts on that as of now? You still need to wait on some news. I mean, just really tough for Philly to go in on the road and do that. Jason Tatum, I mean, if he plays decent, it's not going to be a close game based on what we've seen the last couple of games.
He's had 2 dogs in the series twice. I mean, just look, I ain't giving him no credit. The fuck, I could hit 4 for 15. So he hit a few at the end of the game. Good for you. I could hit a couple if I can't take that many shots. But yeah, Philly's going to have to go into Boston and beat them for the third time in Boston. Tough. Especially with Doc Choke Rivers. We're going to have, I think that'll be our new nickname for Doc. Instead of calling him Doc, we'll call him Choke Rivers. Just going to be real tough. Last night's game was ugly. I mean, it's just an ugly basketball game offensively. Anyway, yeah, tough spot for them. The number is too high. But this could be one of these games where Philly, knowing they let their best chance slip away, if they get down double digits like they were early in the game yesterday, maybe they don't make that comeback and maybe it gets ugly. These closeout games, guys, they tend to be blowouts, kind of like the Denver game last night. That's why I feel if the Heat, if playoff Jimmy shows up tonight, I kind of have the feeling that that's what we'll see in the Heat game. But yeah, tough order, but my number's not that high. That's why I can't say latest Celtics. My number's on the game for tomorrow. I'm looking at 4.2 would be my right number, home to road. But yeah, tough spot. It's got to be Philly or nobody. But the spot, like I said, just tough for Philly.
Yeah, two finals matchups I'd like to see. Lakers, Boston, obviously that's just historic. But Nuggets, Philly, still a chance of that. Jokic versus Embiid for 7 games would just be some great basketball. So we'll see how it turns out, how it goes out. As you guys know, go to the website, howtobeatthebookie.com, download the app, get all the information for all these games throughout the weekend. Big card ahead of us. And back-to-back Sundays, John. Sundays, what is it, 8-0 the last 2 Sundays now? So big Sundays, and make sure you guys don't miss out on the information coming for Sunday.
So, guys, obviously we don't do the YouTube podcast on the weekend. Sunday's always a great day in baseball. The value's there. But I can't guarantee that we're going to go undefeated every Sunday,
Right.
but it's always going to be value there. A lot of guys get sat. A lot of stars get a day off on Sunday, get some rest. We're always on top of those lineups. There's always value on Sunday. It's a getaway day. It's just things that we look at underneath all the stats and stuff. Always a good day. Again, can't guarantee undefeated although we've been crushed the last 2 Sundays. So if you want to be a member, there ain't no better day to become a member. We'll keep this baseball train going. Like I said, 2-2 yesterday. That's another positive. We're gonna finish up strong this week. We're gonna finish this whole year crushing in baseball. I just feel it. I mean, I really do.
Nope, and you guys got the free bet there with the Lakers. John's going head-to-head with the Corgi, so we'll see how that pans out. But other than that, John, we got a nice little weekend slate of games. We got some work to get to, huh?
We got a lot of work to do, guys, and good luck over the weekend. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.